But what else could come then but the main event of the evening? And they had plugged this one, the biggest fight in the WWE possible was going to be Seth Rollins and CM Punk. And here it became. Seth Franklin Rollins out. And was that the devil costume? Was that the costume that Satan wore in the Howling Man episode of The Twilight Zone when he was released from the monastery?
I don't know. Satan was just wearing red and yellow and plugging his beer.
That was the guy that was really unpopular. Satan was over in the corner taking notes. But Seth came out, and then on the Netflix debut, like Mussolini, he's getting streamy. He's being streamed to every corner of the world.
Oh, boy.
Well, they streamed him.
They streamed. I don't know what you did. You screeched,
scratched my screech. Well, they had a fight is what they had, as it was billed and intended to be. But again, they get in a fight and they go to the floor and they go into and over the rail. And in AEW, the fans are just sitting there and staring and maybe holding their phone up and kind of giggling. But these people are popping and chanting for name. And the crowd was pro-Punk because Seth has been leaning on the little whiny heelishness a little bit. So the crowd was pro-Punk. And Seth fell into it by getting heat on him and Punk fighting back from underneath. But they had a heck of a fucking match, and the people were with everything. Again, we don't need to do the blow by blow. But they told a story. They had their fight. They didn't do anything that either guy, shouldn't do to destroy their aura or whatever. But it's so you could believe they didn't like each other. And when they did do big moves, they would give each other room to breathe in between for the most part. And, they traded 2 counts where the Punk would do Seth shit, Seth would do Punk shit. Seth hit a GTS, the go to sleep out of nowhere, but Punk was able to take the bump and roll out to the floor so he couldn't be covered. But then when Seth rolled him in, Punk hit the curb stomp and got a 2 count. And then a minute later, Seth foiled a GTS and hit a GTS and got another 2 count. And then they did a bit on the desk where Seth was going to go for what looked like maybe a pile driver. Punk then picked him up for the go to sleep, but then Seth backed out of that and hit a pedigree on the desk and rolled Punk in and hit a pedigree in the ring and got a 2 count. God damn it. Now everybody's blown up. Then they got the dueling chants again, and then they get in a slugfest where it looked like that they were attempting as best they could to say, okay, don't move, but there's not going to be a lot of fucking room for error on this one with the punches. And then Seth hit the buckle bomb, the curb stomp, cover, 1, 2, Punk gets his foot on the ropes. And a huge pop for the foot on the ropes because the people understand it. The other fucking channels got the guy being set on fire with a flamethrower. They don't really get with that. And the people are chanting, "This is awesome." And then came the finish, and I'm going to bitch about it because I have to if I'm fair to everybody. Old Seth Franklin Rollins goes for the superplex off the top rope and hits it, and it looked great. Boom. But then they continued rolling through, and Punk popped up to his feet and got up under Seth and gave him the go to sleep after he'd just been superplexed. And I bitch about that every time anybody does it. It's the same fucking thing as the Falcon Arrow. Oh, I superplex a fucking guy, but now I'm going to roll through and I'm going to pick him up and give him a move that looks half as good. and cover him on that one. It's just goofy, but he picked him up, hit the GTS, and then Punk staggered down. Seth fell into the rope, staggered back, and fell over Punk's shoulders, and Punk got up under him, struggled him up, and hit him with another one. Boom. 1, 2, 3. If they could have done anything else besides Punk popping up after a superplex, I wouldn't have had anything to gripe about. But otherwise, boom, the people liked it. Both of them were selling the effects big. Punk had to win because I believe he'll probably be in a fairly prominent position at WrestleMania. And, they finished the show up with a bang. That's what I thought. But who am I to say? What did you think?
You're an expert. I'm a idiot. I thought it was a good match. I really liked it. The fans got really into it. I didn't know if they would after that Drew McIntyre match killed the audience. But
now don't say the Jey Uso match killed the audience.
Well, the fans were really into it is the point, and I really liked it. I agree with you about the finish only because we had just talked about it. So it was fresh in my mind. I think it was the Will Ospreay Kyle Fletcher match. Where
probably.
I think it was that match where it was something where they both landed in the ring and the other guy who had been getting killed popped right up. Burst of energy hit something. I don't even remember if it was the finish, but they did it and we talked about it. Other than that, great match. Punk goes over. Makes you think it's not the end of this. And good match.
Does Seth then, does he come out next week and be contrite and say, well, I guess I was wrong all along and let me hug you now and say I love you? Or does he come and attempt to harass Punk from behind somehow or in some more heelish way? Is this the end for Seth Franklin as being a babyface, or can he be redeemed yet?
I don't. If they keep doing this thing with him and Punk, he ain't a babyface, so I think he's a heel.
Well, we will find out when the next chapter, the next episode plays on the Netflix next week. But otherwise, that was the debut of a new era, a new time period, a new generation, all of those things on Netflix. I hate the streaming television. I want my cable remote and my pause and my good operations. But I guess I'll put up with this.
And you'll probably get there eventually with cable companies and Netflix working together on a remote or something. But that was the beginning of the Netflix era.
Maybe they could take all these streaming services and all these different channels and bundle them up all together into a service called cable TV.
That'd be nice.